and welcome to At Home today. We're so glad you're with us. What a wonderful day this is. This is a great day because this is the day that the Lord hath made. And we will rejoice and be glad in it. That's what the Bible tells us to do. And we're going to do that today. We're continuing with our series on harvest foods all this month because look at this table once again, just full of all kind of goodies that God's provided. These are mostly in their natural state, just the way He provided them. We're going to talk a little bit today about peppers and give you some really good recipes. I have to show you this. This came to me, Allison King, who is, let's see, she's 8 years old. Allison made this picture for me. Is this cute? And she has on there, Dear Arlene, me and my mom and my brother love your show. I have a play kitchen and I love to play in it. I love to cook. From Allison King, 8 years old. And you can see here, she's in the kitchen. I think that's a stove probably. And here she is, she's over here, she's working. Isn't this neat? 8 years old. I love it. Thank you so much, Allison. I appreciate this very much. If you've got a family that your kids like to be in the kitchen, don't tell them to get out. Let them be in there with you. They want to be by you. And what they want to be doing is be a part of whatever you're doing. And that's part of family. So it's really good to do. Today, like I said, we're going to talk about peppers. Now I'm going to show you a few peppers. As you can see, there are a variety. Most of us are familiar with the big green pepper, the sweet bell pepper. And that's that green one there on the end of the table. That's the one we use mostly in stuffed peppers or in our salads, anything like that. That's the green bell pepper. Now this variety over here, let's look at this little thing here. You have to see this. This is incredible. This is called a tomatilla. And this comes with its own little wrapping, very hot. And look, you peel it off. And what is beneath it is a very hot pepper. You have to be careful. Use safety when you do peppers, any kind of peppers. These are the banana type pepper. I'm sure there's big technical names for them, which I don't know. These are the hot peppers. These are hot red peppers. We're going to use these in what we make today. And over here, now someone thought this was a jalapeno, and someone else said this was a lapa. I think he told me a lapa. He said the jalapenos are like that one in that little basket right there by that jar. They're more rounded on the bottom. These come to a point, and that's the difference. You say, well, where would you get a red one? Well, any pepper this would turn red if you left it on the vine long enough. Because that's why red peppers cost more money at the store. Because when it comes green and you can pick it and get your money fast, you don't do that. You have to leave them on the vine and they will ultimately turn red. And it takes longer, so that's why they cost more. All these different kinds of peppers. Today we're going to be using a lot of these in the varieties of recipes we're going to bring to you. But first we're going to have our at-home hint. And then we're coming back with peppers. Stay with us now. Here's today's at-home hint. When selecting peppers, look for well-shaped, firm ones with a bright color and shiny skin. Store sweet peppers in a vegetable crisper or plastic bags. Refrigerate up to 2 weeks.
For updates, pictures, stories, and more, like us on Facebook. To watch hundreds of classic episodes, subscribe to us on YouTube. And to get hundreds of free recipes, visit ctvn.org/athome.
Well, today we're going to tell you how to use up those peppers that are coming so much in your garden now and at all the fruit markets. Here I have some red peppers and what we call yellow peppers. This isn't real bright yellow, but this is considered a yellow pepper. And to roast peppers, which you can use in loads of recipes, you barely just take this tray, cover it with foil, put your peppers on, have the oven preheated to 500 degrees, extremely hot oven, put them in, let them roast for 20 minutes. When you bring them out, you immediately put them into a plastic bag, a Ziploc bag, and zip it. And that traps the steam in there. And then what you'll get, and we've done this ahead of time so we can show you, you get your pepper that the skin is falling off the pepper. You see all this moisture that it traps in the bag is what causes, look at this skin coming right off. And the taste of this pepper is incredible because it tastes like it's been roasted. And you can see that black skin. Of course, you would discard it. But look, the stem pulls out, and you thoroughly get rid of all of the skin and the stem. And what you'll do then is turn it over, make sure there's none on this side. All right, now you take a sharp knife, and it will break apart because it's that well roasted. And I cut this part where the membrane at the bottom is, and maybe a few seeds there, but that will all pull out generally. Then what you do is just cut this on a diagonal. And this is so good in so many recipes. One of the recipes we'll be doing later, we could use these. This is the roasted pepper that you see in a jar. Same thing. I like to take them, put them in a bowl. Now, I don't like green peppers like this. The red ones and the yellow ones taste the best. And this is called roasted peppers. Very expensive, but you can see it hardly takes anything to make them. And that flavor is incredible because it changes not only the texture, but the taste of the pepper completely. And that little bit of black, don't worry about that. Don't try to clean it off. That's the roasted flavor. Now what I would do with these, and I have the two other yellow peppers there, gives it a nice color. We'll do these, but I don't want to take the time, but I'll show you that you can combine them with the red. And what I like to do then to serve this, if I don't use it in a recipe, is just put some salt and pepper and a bit of olive oil. Oh my goodness. And then get a crusty piece of bread. And I'll tell you what, we're talking about something tasty and good and different. And I would probably do my oil first. And not a lot because they're very moist. What you want to do is just a little bit of oil to coat them because that flavor, the oil will bring the roasted flavor out. And again, just a little bit of pepper. You could add some other seasonings if you wanted to. You really don't need to. Just a little salt and a crusty piece of bread. And this is your roasted peppers. That simple, that easy. Next, what we're going to do for the second recipe is a bell pepper dip. And this, we're going to use our green pepper in the recipe, and we're going to use the peppers as a serving dish, okay? Let's see here. We have, first of all, some cream cheese that we have to let that come to room temperature. Now, in a saucepan, we're going to take 2 large eggs, just like that, 2 tablespoons of sugar, mix it up, 2 tablespoons of butter that has been melted, just like this. Make sure you get it all. Peppers can perk up the flavor of just about anything, and I think that more and more people are using peppers, and I think kids are acquiring a taste for them. Used to be kids would say, oh, I don't like peppers, or when I was a kid, my brother's mom would make stuffed green peppers, the bell pepper, and they would eat the stuffing and leave the pepper in the pot, you know. But now, it seems like more and more kids are appreciating the taste and the flavor of a pepper. This is 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Now what you'll do, put this on a medium-low heat and cook it just until it gets thick, so the finished product is something that looks like this. And this is the basis for what we're going to be using as a dip for the peppers. And basically, this has to be cooked ahead and cooled. That's why we're not doing it live. But you'll know once it thickens up, then you just take it off and set it aside, let it cool, just like we've done here. Now what we'll do, we've taken 6 ounces. That's almost a whole large block of cream cheese, but not quite, just 6 ounces. We've put it in a bowl and we've beat it up really, really well with a mixer to make it creamy. Now we're going to add our yolk mixture that we have made and cooled. You can understand why this has to be cooled, because if this was warm, then it would melt down the cream cheese, which is another important ingredient in the dip. Okay, so we have that, our cooled mixture. Now we're going to add some green pepper. This is about 1/2 cup of chopped. And some onion, another 1/2 cup of chopped onion. I think it's nice to use whatever's fresh and in season. That's what you ought to be using right now to cook with and to make dips and everything with. Because, you know, they're very much in, you can find peppers and these types of things, the garden fresh variety now, just about everywhere. Come the middle of December, come January, We would give anything to have one of these fresh peppers, or you can have them, but they're so high and very, I remember one time the green peppers were $3 a pound, and I didn't buy them. I usually try not to, because it can blow a real hole into your budget. But while they're plentiful and there's so much out there, now's the time to enjoy them. You can make stuffed peppers and do the recipe clear to the point where you've stuffed them, put them in the freezer just like that. Take them out as you need them. You know, make up a whole lot now while it's very inexpensive. And then in the middle of the winter when you say, oh, could I ever have, I'd sure like to have some of that, you've got it. So, okay, we have a dip. We've got roasted peppers. When we come back, I'm going to show you how to make hot pepper jelly. That, not relish, jelly. We'll be right back in just a minute.
If you love At Home with Arlene Williams, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have hundreds of episodes with all your favorite recipes, holidays, and friends.
Say hi to your fan club. Hi, fan club.
And don't forget to click the bell so you'll never miss another episode of At Home.
All right, this is it. This is the hot pepper jelly. This is what I'm going to show you how to make. This stuff is so good. We made some ahead of time and we've been nibbling on it because it is good. What we're going to use to do this is 3/4 of a cup of this kind of a pepper, which is a sweet pepper, and 1/4 of a cup of this kind of a pepper, which is a hot pepper. And you can make, I suggest you make the first batch, and if it's not hot enough, then just adjust the measurements. Go more to 1/2 of this and 1/2 of green, 2/3 and 1/3. However heated you like it, you can make that adjustment yourself. Very simple. Basically, you're going to take your green pepper and get 3/4 of a cup, which is this much. It has to be ground either in a food chopper or in a food processor. And when you have that, you put that into your pan. You need this size of a pan to do it, so be sure you have it big enough because it has to boil. And then you do 1/4 of a cup of the hot red, that's this. And the redder the pepper, the nicer it looks. So try to get the reddest of the hot peppers that you can. Now, the other thing that we have already placed into this pan is 6 cups of sugar, because it's a jelly. You have to remember that it is indeed a jelly. And 1.5 cups of white vinegar, distilled vinegar. That goes in here too. Now, I would suggest that you use a pan that has a non-stick surface because you don't want this to stick, and you know how sugar can stick when it gets going. Of course, the vinegar there helps to liquefy it immediately. And let me show you in the pan. I don't know if Larry's got a shot of that or not. Look at the red and green. Isn't that nice? Very nice colors there. And this is going to come up to a boil very quickly. Basically, what you're going to do is cook this. Let me make sure again. We have our sweet peppers, our hot peppers, the sugar, the vinegar. And what you want to have on standby is Certos, which is a fruit pectin. It used to come in a bottle years ago when I used to make jellies and stuff a lot. Now it comes in a pouch. This takes 6 ounces of this pectin, which would be 2 pouches, which comes in 1 box. So you'll be covered with that. You have to have that on standby. And you're going to keep your fire pretty high on this, and you're going to keep watching it. Meanwhile, what you have to have going is in a pan right here, I have my water to sterilize the jars because that's very important. You have to do that. You can't get away from that. And we're not going to seal these with the lids and the rings. We're going to seal this jelly with paraffin. And that's what I have in this pan. It comes in a block. And what you do is just put it into this nonstick pan. It's wonderful. The cleanup is wonderful too. And you just put it on the lowest possible heat and keep watching it. Set it off if it gets liquefied really well, because you don't want it to get too hot because it'll start to smoke because it's wax. All right, now we keep stirring because we want to stir this down. This has to boil, and you have to make sure that that jar is completely sterilized. You can even use a bigger pan if you wanted to, but you must make sure that it is completely hot and tempered and sterilized. All right? So that's going to town. Over here we have our peppers. Let me make sure that this is on good high heat. It is. This is a recipe that came from Naomi Brockman. She sent me a recipe, and I think she said this is probably like a 30-year-old jelly recipe that her family loves. And when I first read it, I thought, you know, I'm not much into hot peppers. I like it a little bit, but I don't know, and Paul probably won't like this at all. Well, I made it at home, and I hardly had enough to bring to show everybody because Paul was like, put that on my sandwich. Let's have this on meat. And what Naomi says to do is, it's wonderful if you have those little Triscuit crackers or some kind of a cracker, put a little bit of cream cheese on, and then put some of this on top. She said, it's incredible. Well, we've had it on bagels. Paul's had it on his sandwich. He's had it on eggs. He loves this. And the thing that I like about it is that you indeed can control the degree of hotness. If you don't like things real hot, start it out milder and then work up to where you really like it. This will make about 2 of this size. This is a pint-sized jar. Makes 2 of those and about 4 of the smaller 4-ounce size jars. You can double the recipe if you want to. You can. It's not hard to make, and it works very, very quickly. You don't have to. I hate to make things you have to keep playing with all day to get them done. You jar them, and then you do this, and then you do that, then you do that. Who has time to do that? If you have the luxury of being at home every day, then you do, and that's wonderful for you. But for some of us that are working, we have to keep at it and keep at it. So we're waiting for this to come up to a boil. When it does, it will boil hard for 1 minute, and it's important that you allow that minute for it to cook. And watch your gas level or your heat level, because it'll want to come up to the top of the pan. So you just have to be careful, adjust your heat as you go. But it has to boil hard for 1 minute, and that means it's a boil that you cannot stir it down. And when that happens, you'll know it, because you'll be saying, oh, it looks like it's going to cook over the edge of the pan. Just be careful with it. I also see that when we ground up the peppers, there are a few large pieces that you might want to take some time now to make sure you get those out, because you won't want to be biting into a big piece of pepper in a jelly. The important thing in a jelly is to make sure that everything is very fine, even like with fruit jellies. A jam has big pieces of fruit, but not a jelly. All right, so while we're waiting for that to happen, we have the water going. I'm going to go on to another recipe while this is working, okay? We're going to do some quesadillas. You say, well, what's a quesadilla? Quesadilla is, I call it like a Mexican sandwich. And they're made with flour tortillas. And these are flour tortillas. It says right here on the package, flour tortillas. They usually come in a dozen, and you can buy really large ones or this size. Well, we're going to use the smaller ones today. Maybe, Linda, you could keep an eye on that and let me know when it gets rolling, okay? And thank you. And we're going to put them out like this. Put 4 out. And first of all, you're going to heat your oven to 450 degrees. And we have our oven going already. Now we're going to take some shredded cheddar cheese. And we're going to put about 1/2 cup. And try not to get it to the edge, because what will happen when it hits the oven, it will definitely go all over the place. So to within 1/2 inch of the edge of the tortilla, we'll put our cheese, which is shredded cheddar cheese. Shredded cheddar cheese. All right? Not an easy group of words for me to say today, I want you to know. Okay, now we're going to make 4 of these, because I know the crew looks a little hungry today, and I think they're going to enjoy these. They like Mexican. There's a big wave. Everybody loves Mexican food. And I think, you know, those hot jalapenos, you can make salsa. You can make so many different things with these peppers that we're doing. Just let your imagination go, particularly if you like Mexican food, because they use a lot in their salsa. I'm going to put a little bit more cheese on this. Okay, next what we do, after we've done that, then we're going to put, this is fresh corn off the cob. We're going to sprinkle corn on here, just like that. A little different, aren't they? Something unusual. You know, people say, oh, is corn going to cook enough? Oh, yeah. Some people eat corn right off the cob. I mean, not even cooked, but maybe a minute, like almost blanched. I was surprised to hear that, because I always thought people cooked corn and cooked it and cooked it. Not so, particularly if you have a good variety and it tastes good, and it's sweet corn. Boy, that's when it tastes good. All right, now we're going to put some tomato, a couple of slices of tomato. Got a little corn silk there on my hand. Get rid of that. All right, 3 slices on each one. This would be a nice supper, quick supper. If your family happens to like tortillas or this type of food, this is good. And then on top of that, we could use the peppers that we have done, or we can use these roasted peppers. And we'll just put them, they come in a jar, or the ones that we made, we could have used those. I want to show you something else with those later though. Just put these all over. Here we go, I can hear it starting to boil, I think. When we come back, I'll show you if we don't have time, if we run out of time, because it's really important for you to see that. Okay, roasted peppers on all of them. Now what we'll do is, let's add a little more cheese. Just on top, lightly. Just lightly. Just like that. Okay, more cheese. And then we're going to put another tortilla on top. Okay. Very simple, very easy, but I think it's something your family's going to like. And we're always looking for quick meals, quick dinners, and particularly if they like tortillas. These will go in the oven, and they're only going to bake for 6 to 8 minutes. That's all, until they're golden brown at 450 degrees. And while we take a break and I put these in the oven, we're going to check on our jelly. We'll be right back after this important message. Stay with us.
To get all the recipes from today's show, plus hundreds of others, just click the link in the video description or visit our website, ctvn.org/at-home.
Well, I want to tell you that our peppers have boiled hard for 1 minute. Then we put the fruit pectin in, called the surto or fruit pectin, and stirred it, and then allowed it to sit for 5 minutes. Then you take your metal spoon and you skim off the foam that collects on the top, because it always does. Meanwhile, have your jars in there getting good and hot in the boiling water. And you're going to take your jar out. It can be any size you want. You want large jars, that's fine. Small jars. You bring it out. You sterilize your funnel like that. Put it in your jar. Sterilize your dipper just like that. And then you take your wonderful jelly, pour it into the jar, leave a 1/2 inch at the top, make sure that it's clean. Melted paraffin, you pour it over the top of it, just 1/8 of an inch, just to cover it, because that seals it. Now, we're going to take this over to the table, and we're going to add it to all the other good things that we've made for you today. All right, you'll see there in the front we have our jars of jelly, and also, I'm going to put this here while it cools just a little bit and get a lid for it. Next to it, we've had Triscuit crackers that we're going to spread with some cream cheese, put a little of that hot pepper jelly, oh my goodness. Then next to that, this is our roasted red and yellow peppers. That on a piece of crusty bread, delicious. Next to that is the pepper dip that we've made, and we've even used the peppers as our serving utensils. We thought that would be nice, with an assortment of crackers around it, and this is the pepper dip that has peppers and onions in it. And last but not least is our quesadillas that have such good things in it. We've got onions in there, we've got corn, we've got tomatoes, we've got cheese, tortillas, all kind of goodies just for you and your family. Be sure to join us the next time, because it just wouldn't be the same without you here at home. We'll see you then.
Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home. Thank you for watching.
Fresh produce provided by Jordan Banana, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Dravosburg, Pennsylvania. Appliances provided by Decor Distinctive Appliances, a reflection of your good taste. Groceries provided by Foodland, where the answer is always yes. Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.